pretty well all a bunch of fucking idiots. I've been reading articles about Oregon up here for a while. Seems to me the things that these people made legal, they still want to complain about with the homeless. And of course, it's all speculative. The fuck? I'll just say rotate device. It's fucking sitting at a decent goddamn angle. Alright, so let's go through these articles. First of all, apparently there was a lady who, her and her son were apparently attacked by somebody who looks like a skinny Santa Claus, who was renting a, what was it, a F-150 or an F-250. In that article, it said that her and her son were both together, and it was her 16-year-old son, and they both fought off this skinny Santa Claus. And, of course, they have the license plate and all that, so they should be able to go to the rental agency and find out who rented it and go pick that person up. Not too complicated. Now, what are the chances that the cops are going to say, oh, well, you need to go down there to the rental agency and do our job for us? Well, that depends. That lady and her son, were they living out of that vehicle? Or do they have houses? If they got houses, they might get hurt. I mean, obviously the media gave a shit. Now, where does the Nazi shit come in? Well, that comes in with the planning and policies that the people here allow and the ignorant goddamn reasons why. When you go through these news articles, you realize that yes, even though these people want drugs to be legal for, well, of course, as it turns out, only people in houses. Sorry, folks. So here's how it is. It's called Newsbreak, apparently, and I watch it because it comes across my telephone. I think that popped up because my dumb ass was stupid enough to try to looking up boats in the area. And that's a lot of pretty flowers, I gotta say. So as I'm reading these articles, I'm noticing that the news is pushing real heavy some very Nazi ideals. Who do they go after first? The homeless, the mentally ill, blacks and Jews. Fuck it. So goes life. The easiest people to victimize. If they can't defend themselves, go at it. And of course, they talk about all the dynamics that I speak of, but they only speak of it from a stuck-up fucking punk-ass bitch point of view. Somebody who's been pampered their whole goddamn lives and doesn't know what it is to actually fucking struggle. You know, the kind of motherfucker who stretches his credit out until he dies. Yeah, that guy. The one that drops all that debt on you guys. Way to go. But of course, that's fine. You want to have a class of people you can blame everything on. You guys throw your trash out the fucking window, driving down the goddamn interstate. I've been picking up people's garbage at a fucking parking lot for like 4 months, okay? Stop blaming everything on the goddamn homeless. You know what? There are no fucking garbage cans here. There's none. I got lucky. I finally found the one garbage can at Walmart. Holy shit, and they got it all tucked over to the side in a little nook and cranny area. Fuck. That's just insane. So, of course, while I was down there, I took my bottles out, and there's a couple of Hispanic folks speaking Spanish. I don't know where they're from. Might be Puerto Rico, might be Mexico, might be Spain. What I do know is that I gave them my cans because I wasn't going to stand in line in that fucking heat. I wouldn't have made a whole hell of a lot anyway. I think it would have been like $1.19. Anyway, well, it would have been an even 10 cents per can, so it wouldn't have come out to $1.19. Anyway, these folks here in Oregon, there was a lady, her and her husband, well, he lost his job at the same time that his landlord raised the rent by $600 a month. There's no way they could have afforded that even with both their jobs. And then he lost his. Homelessness increased in the United States 60% last year. That means it more than doubles every 2 years from here on in. Good luck, folks. God, I'm sweating like a pig. I ain't taking a shower in forever. I'm sure some of y'all are going to tell me pigs don't sweat. Well, they actually do. But you don't want to hear about either one of the places they sweat from. Okay. So, of course, they want to pass ordinances that are saying it won't stand up to a legal battle because, of course, these homeless people should be allowed those rights. They are American citizens. No, they're not. They're not American citizens. They're not allowed those rights. They're not allowed those freedoms. It doesn't even matter if they served in the United States military. It doesn't matter if they served in Vietnam. It doesn't matter if they served in Iraq. It doesn't matter if they served in Afghanistan. When they're on the streets, that's where they are. When they're on the streets, those are the lowest priority. They're also the highest risk. They don't have anybody in their corner. Nobody cares about them when they die. They go into an oven to be incinerated. Just like the Jews in World War II. So, of course, you guys don't want to hear it. What you want is for poverty to go away. You don't want them to illegally dump in your dumpsters. But then you want to bitch about all the trash. You want to make it legal to do all these drugs, but only for you in houses. Then you want to insinuate that any vehicle that goes to see somebody at a homeless camp, well, it must be drug running, huh? It couldn't ever possibly be somebody like Rebecca Gross Nickel-Foley bringing food, could it? It could never possibly be family or friend coming down to meet somebody, could it? Of course not. Homeless people don't have families. We don't have friends. We're all monsters, remember? According to the media, according to the police, and according to you. You hate us that much. We don't even have to do anything wrong to you to go to jail. Then they got these ordinances. They want to talk about how these ordinances will make it easier. Easier on who? These free camping tickets they want to pass out. They're temporary overnight. They want you to leave by 8 o'clock in the morning. Well, how are you supposed to be able to afford that? Oh yeah, I don't have enough for the soda machine. Screw it. I'm gonna try to walk down to Walmart. Try to walk out my pain. It don't work very well, but it's I want to not be dehydrated, and that hot car is a friggin' hot car. It's a chunk of metal. So here in Oregon, even though they know they don't really have a thread to stand on as far as that goes, they also know that nobody's gonna fight for the homeless. They're just gonna generalize that it's all the homeless and victimize everyone there. Those folks who were trapped there, Logan and Shayna, they got their vehicle up and running. It took help. They got it up and running and they got out of there. The cops here are Nazis. Of course they're Nazis. The population here supports Nazism. They support the exact things that, well, look at that propaganda from World War II. Of course, go all the way back to Roman times. They took the very same people. The homeless, the infirmed. That's right, that's what it said in one of them history books. The infirmed were fed to the lions. You guys might want to look up the word infirmed. See what that means. So, of course, most of these people probably not armed. They probably don't have guns. They're probably getting their shit stolen left and right by people in houses. And then, of course, these people in houses want to talk about their break-ins. Well, I gotta tell you, if there's break-ins close to your house because there's a homeless population there, maybe you should stop to think about the victimization it took to put them there. Most of those folks had jobs. Oh wow, free marijuana. Very cool. Let me smell it and make sure. Yep, that's marijuana. Looks like 2 indicas. And although it ain't enough to get most people stoned, that'd get me stoned for straight. And of course, it's legal here unless, of course, you're homeless. If you got a house, you can do heroin in your house. You're allowed. The law allows it. Not just heroin. Methamphetamines, cocaine, crack, it don't matter. It's all legal. But it's illegal. Oh, see. Little alcohol container and McDonald's coffee container. Yeah. We don't see the alcohol containers much up here. I know there's a Coors can that keeps floating around the parking right up there. Now, one of the things that allows this Nazi mentality to continue is the hatred. The hatred created when you give police the power to murder with impunity, depending upon social class, i.e. going after the homeless, the mentally ill, blacks, and of course Jews. Now we get to pretend like because we didn't use the words that it doesn't make it true. Well, that's stupid. You pretend to yourselves that even though you're doing the same exact things that the Nazis did, going after the same exact people, using the same exact excuses, and it's all shit you're doing. You are doing. And you're blaming it on others, and you're shifting it on others. You are shifting it onto your victims. It is your victims' fault that they were victimized. It's your victims' fault that they were ripped off. They should have been smarter. Isn't that right? Well, smarter is one thing, but I recorded you idiots. There's also the media, and we can go through and we can make direct comparisons with that shit. And of course, speeches by Adolf Hitler. How many of you have read Mein Kampf? Oh wow, this one's gonna be a sativa. The reason I know it's gonna be a sativa is because the purple one was an indica. Oh no, this is a hybrid. Oh, we'll put it in my pocket. Apparently there was a hell of a party here and I missed it. I was gonna come down for Pride and celebrate and all that, but Jesus, my day turned into I don't even want to tell you. Now they keep saying things like, well, we're surprised the state hasn't come in and locked them all up with a bus or put them in a facility. You know what? I tell you guys about stories like that from the 1950s. I wasn't alive in the 1950s. 1950s was when they came and grabbed my grandma's friend Rita for being brown and stuck her on a bus and sent her to Mexico even though she didn't speak a word of Mexican. They did that throughout most of Nebraska. Anybody brown. Didn't matter if they'd fought in World War II or not, they were brown, so they got shipped out. It didn't matter if they were Native Americans, if they were Mexicans, if they were Hispanic. It just didn't matter. Anyone brown. Now we got people making those same suggestions. You talk about how inhumane it was that people did this to the Japanese in World War II. Well, they did it to the homeless and the disabled as well. They've continued to do that throughout most of history. The Romans used us for feeding animals in the Colosseums, and there were many Colosseums. Just so you know, the Colosseum in Rome is not a Colosseum. It was named after a big statue that was put outside of it called the Colossus. And it was thought originally to have been a depiction of Emperor Nero. But the building itself was actually called the Flavian Amphitheater. If you know anything about the Roman naming system, well, it was probably named after someone named Flavian or Flavius. Germans used this for experiments. The United States, especially in the 1980s, they did a lot of experiments on children. Now, I don't know if they did any of that really super dark X projects crap that you see on TV. But I do know that they tested a lot of new medications on children, especially at places like Centennial Peaks outside of Boulder, Colorado. Trying to find me a decent half of a cigarette. It looks like most of them have been stepped on. So of course people don't want to see homelessness. They don't want to see poverty. If they don't get what they want, they really just expect the government to give them what they want and punish anybody that they don't agree with. Anybody who's not the right color, anyone who's not the right gender, and it's just insane. Now, another part of that, though, is that people are fine with it as long as they get their ice cream, as long as they get their Kool-Aid, as long as they get to go get their steak. It doesn't occur to them that the same garbage that they purchase, that's right, everything's wrapped in plastic no matter where you go. Well, if a homeless person purchases that same object, it is wrapped in that same plastic, and they are going to need to dispose of it same as anyone else. I got a car that's not just full of my garbage, it's full of other people's garbage because there ain't nowhere to toss it. And of course, I am seeing garbage everywhere I go. Broken glass, cigarette butts. We got zip ties. We got pieces of paper all up in these things. I mean, it's reality. And of course, everybody wants to blame the homeless. When you leave your garbage bag out overnight and squirrels or raccoons get into it, and it blows all up and down the street, and everybody blames the homeless. It's stupid. You not get that? There's a murder that the pigs can't solve. Well, we might as well cast some light on the fact that there's homeless people. Ooh, whoa, homeless folks is the devil, man. Watch out for homeless folks. They're all child molesters, rapists, and they all do drugs. Meanwhile, I know more druggies in houses than I do on the streets. What about them pharmaceuticals? Them are killing a lot more people. What are you doing about them? Not a goddamn thing. Holy hell. Is that tobacco or marijuana? That is tobacco, but it's dry. However, since I picked it up, it is my responsibility. It is going in my pocket, and fucking hey, there's some goddamn karma right there. Yeah. Fuck, my back hurts. So, what I want to do is get a few folks, get them together, get them up in the mountains. If we got any folks with some technical skills, it'd be much appreciated. But we're going to have to take a piece. We're going to have to take a piece of land somewhere. We're going to have stakes, and we're going to have to say, no, we're not leaving. We're people too. Every part of our lives is illegal because we don't have any money. And you fine us for it over and over again. You lock us up for it. You make us move over and over again. Love is love. Let me see that. Love is love. Unless you're homeless. In which case, nobody gives two shits. Sure, they have a token special where they try to push the mentally ill homeless thing. Mentally ill, mentally ill, mentally ill. That don't make it better for us, that makes it worse. Oh my God, it smells like lavender musk. That's strong. All right. So we listen to the ideas that people got. Their ideas of all these wonderful new fucking tents we got nowhere to put them. We got ordinances that make it illegal to do every goddamn thing. The cops, they know that you're only allowed to have 14 days for camping every 6 months. So they'll tell you to go up the mountain 14 days. That's all you get. Then you got to move. If you've been pushed to the point where you're living out of an RV that you thought was just going to be for traveling around during your vacation season, and now this is your permanent home, you ain't even got the money to maintain it. You're being told you got to move after 14 days, and you're not allowed to go back. Federal land, you got a grand total of 14 days, that is all. State land as well. So in a 6-month period, between 14 days on state land and 14 days on federal land, what is that, 28 days? That's a February, isn't it? So out of a 6-month period, you get 1 month, you still gotta move. Often, frequently. And your stuff is gonna break down and you don't have the money to fix it. And the American people are fucking heartless. Even the poor are heartless when it comes to the homeless. You all want to tell yourselves that we wanted it, needed it, chose it, or deserved it. When you guys do screwed up shit, you blame us for everyone. You blame us for Tim Beeson. You blame us for Ted Bollinger. You blame us for Waylon Lolatai. Oh yeah, we chose to make those people violent. We chose to make those people rapists and woman beaters. We chose that, didn't we? The homeless did that to you, didn't we? And you're pissed off that we're not being shoved into camps. Well, hell, bitches, we've been trying to make our own camps. You keep shutting them down. What the fuck do you want from us? No, you want us to be put in government work camps. And that's not okay. Even suggesting that idea is treason. And of course, you guys know the penalty for treason during war. And it is war. It's a war against the poor. The more poor you are, the less rights you have. The problem is, it's people with houses who don't give a shit. They want to wallow in their self-pity, getting drunk and fucked up on meth, and talk about how we are the problem. It's our fault they victimized us. We chose this. Of course, that's right. Thomas Kelly, he chose for 6 police officers to beat him to death. Yes, he absolutely chose that, didn't he? He was unarmed, and they beat him to death. Two dozen officers supposedly investigating it. And those officers walked. Now that didn't happen in Oregon, that happened in California. But you can see here in Oregon how you don't want us to blame you for every fat piece of shit in the house, but you want to blame every fucking homeless person for everything that blows in on the fucking wind. And then you want to use homeless camps as your example. Well, when they go down and they buy stuff at the grocery store, do they not buy it in the same containers you do? They don't give it to homeless people. Oh, it's a homeless person. Let's give it to them unwrapped. Then you want to vandalize what it is that they've had to build, had to create, worked fucking hard for, and you want to dismantle it because it don't fit your sense of Nazism. It don't fit your sense of who might actually be a human being, because obviously we're not human beings to you. You want to push the state institution thing. I keep saying I dare you. I keep saying I will fucking sign the papers myself, giving you permission to put me in a fucking state facility. Everything that I have tried, and all of my homeless friends have tried, to create a community where it is safe for us, we have succeeded, with the exception. Turns out that was not a person whistling, that was a bird. I apologize for the ADOS, attention deficit squirrel. And then, of course, you want to type shit like, we got to do better. You see how the cops are. You see what pieces of shit they are to us. And you just make excuse after excuse. But then when it comes to you, you expect them to do that. And then there's this whole situation where this woman was apparently assaulted or attacked by a skinny Santa. That fucking scares the shit out of me. I mean, obviously, I don't have gray fucking beard or nothing, so I mean, whatever, but still, it's scary. What if somebody wants to pretend that must be me because I have a beard and I'm skinny? Well, not as skinny as I once was. I got a little bit of a belly. You get just over and over. Same suggestions. Over and over. It looks to me like there's a little rest area right here. And I am a hurting son of a bitch, so I'm gonna sit down. You only want your side to be heard and only want your side to be seen. You think that you're the only person who matters and the only person who counts, and that anybody who's homeless must be a monster, and therefore it is okay to harm them at will. It's okay to blame them when your daddy rapes you. It's okay to blame them when your husband beats you. They must be. They must be horrible people. They're homeless. We get it pushed on us as a society that everything is the homeless fault. And you know what? That was pretty prevalent before the Revolutionary War, but it was especially prevalent after the Civil War. You guys know why. Black people. You got 4 million black people. They used to be slaves. They were slaves yesterday. Well, the 13th Amendment says that if they break the law, we can make them slaves anyway. So, of course, you pass anti-homeless laws. The South was pretty notorious for that shit beforehand as well, because the reason they kept slavery so long, even though most of the United States was against it, and of course, even when the United States declared its independence, England itself had been, well, slavery had been illegal in Great Britain since 1066. The Norman Conquest? I don't know. Look it up. Find out for yourself. Do not take my word for it. Look it up. Now, the 13th Amendment, when it made it so that anybody convicted of a crime could be used as slave labor, well, you make every aspect of homelessness illegal, and you just tell the American public that it's all their fault. Now, this brought rise to something that is absolutely spectacular. That made it so that instead of slavery only being allowed in the South, now slavery was legal in every state in the Union. Just pick some poor sap who ain't got no family who gives a shit. And this is obviously before the advent of video cameras, so we couldn't record this shit. If a police officer decided to beat you to death, well, you had it coming because, well, he's the police officer. Now we've got all these cameras catching police brutally raping people on camera. We got officers in Broomfield, Colorado, getting busted raping mentally ill people on the hood of their fucking squad car. What is that about? Fucking A, I want to sit down, but my back hurts. I want to walk to Walmart, but my back hurts. I'm thirsty, but my back hurts. And there's my fucking lighter. Even here in Oregon, you know, people said it's all nice this and it's all nice that. Well, most of the people that are involved in the shootings in the homeless community, the people who come down and kill us, they're people in houses. It's usually either over drug deals or misunderstandings. A lot of times people target the homeless because they know they can blow a homeless man's head off and nobody gives a shit. They blow a homeless man's head off in Portland. Who is going to fucking care? One of the things about the article that pulled me into that one is it's the article about that, you know, skinny Santa guy. And I thought to myself, you know what? There's a whole bunch of homeless guys here with beards. And what is to stop them from doing what they did in Denver when they tried pegging me as some sort of fucking horrible monster? Going out and beating up or killing homeless people with beards. It's screwed up. And I'm supposed to pretend this shit don't exist. I'm supposed to pretend it doesn't happen. Well, that ain't gonna happen. This stuff needs to stop. People take advantage of the disabled because, well, most of us are in atrocious conditions to begin with, and you keep screaming for us to be victimized. You keep screaming for our constitutional rights to be taken away. Chloe Roma Army Men's Rights. She's got a YouTube channel. And I did support her until she wanted to shit on our constitutional rights. We can forgive her. She's Canadian. Canadians are nice people, right? That's our excuse? Sure. Okay. Well, she gets a free pass because she's Canadian, and apparently they are not subject to the Constitution, therefore, fuck her opinion. If you're going to be telling people, like, well, Chloe Roma did, that it's okay to lie in court, it's not. Everyone should be allowed an honest chance in court. Everybody should be allowed to face their accusers. Everyone should be allowed to make a police report, even if they're called quote-unquote mentally ill. But you have denied us all of our civil and human rights for long enough. We have taken a back seat to the black cause. We have taken a back seat to abortion. We have taken a back seat to women being raped. We have taken a back seat to all of that, and meanwhile, we are stuck with all of those problems and all of those issues within our own community. You tell us we got to do it ourselves. We got to do it ourselves. You claim that you're recording it for our safety as well as yours, officers, and then it'll take an act of God for us to get it when you treat us like you obviously treated me. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with you people. Oregon is a nasty place. The people are nice and complacent. They'll watch. Thank goodness for the lady at the Astro gas station speaking up. Or I would have gone to jail for something I didn't do. Thank goodness for Logan speaking up in the McDonald's, or I would have gotten assaulted for something I didn't do. God, this is a pain in the ass. Anyway, I'm going to get back to walking to Walmart. Hopefully this thing will not die on the way there or on the way back. Hopefully when I get to Walmart, I think I got like $9 left on my food stamp card, and I'm almost there. So I can get some of those little popsicle stick thingies to try to keep me cool. It's pretty warm at night too right now. Last night it was a little bit weird. It kept on fluctuating between hot and cold. Just a little bit of sea breeze mixed with, well, what we got going on here. Now the cops are complete Nazis. There's a lot of people who talk nicely to me, but that stuff ain't happening to them. With Alicia, I mean, that's a scary situation in and of itself. And it's tough sometimes. Like, listening to the recording afterwards, you know, it sounds like they're giggling a little bit, you know, I'll admit that. But also, when you're in that situation, I've heard people that sounded like they were giggling, and then I'm all of a sudden hearing the words, help, 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 at the top of their lungs. So, I mean, obviously, even though it sounded like a giggle at the time to me, it wasn't. And obviously, in this situation, you know, it definitely sounds like a giggle after the fact. But with everything that I've gone through and the way that Hood River has treated me and the fact that I've gone to them about multiple crimes that have been committed in this county within Hood River, and of course abroad, I've brought things to their attention, including their own wrongdoing. I brought to them the situation with, the folks that they sent me to, telling me it's not their job, they don't do that. But they still want me to fill out their paperwork so that they get their government payments for not learn from doing that. that after a year and a half, she hadn't done shit. And then she tells us to don't know that. It is her job according to the law, according to the state of Nebraska, and she did not do it. Just like these officers here, well, they have a duty to the safety of the American citizens, but they don't give a shit when it comes to a homeless person saying it. And with that lady being in the parking lot the whole time, yeah, I got video footage of her car. Logan was there with me. We had several discussions about her vehicle and about how she didn't seem to be schizophrenic. She just seemed afraid, which means she's probably fleeing abuse. And, being afraid to actually turn it in. We spoke on that too. Afraid to turn it in because if she is fleeing abuse, well, that lets her predator know right where she's fucking at. And then there's also the fact that, well, chances are pretty good that they will, because she's the homeless one, when she tries to tell on her abusers, if there's anything they could even try to twist, contort, or manipulate into her wanting to commit suicide, they will. They'll lock her up. They'll do what they do nationwide. And everywhere I go, they tell me, oh, it's different. You're in a new place. We're going through the same protocols, bud. Okay, don't tell me it's different here. We're doing exactly the same things. Going through the same old song and fucking dance. And you guys are playing your words like a motherfucker. That's why the homeless and disabled are the most victimized people in the country. You just simply do not care. It doesn't matter if it's your fucking job and you're paid to do it, you won't. In Nebraska, with a lot of those mandated reporters, same as here, same as in Colorado, they don't want to lose their jobs. They're afraid they will lose their jobs if they tell the truth. And of course, they want to be angry when I record them saying that or typing that and post it up. Well, how many times have they tried to shut me up? How many times have they locked me up and had to release me due to lack of evidence? How many of those times was I trying to turn in the Bollingers, their cronies, and these fucking cops? Well, every time they pulled that shit, every time I was trying to turn in cops, because you can't separate the police negligence from Natalie Bollinger's death or the harassment, threats, and intimidation by her friends and family, both before and after her death. You can't justify that. Just because I'm homeless, I must be guilty. Just because I'm a male, I must be guilty. Just because you want to say I look like this or I look like that. You say I look like a chimo. You say I don't look autistic. Well, fucking A. It's a good thing you're not professional nothing, ain't it? Now, why don't you take a look at the evidence instead of coming at me because you watched something on Rob Gavigan's channel for 15 minutes. Oh, now we got beer cans. Of course, not mine. And of course, what would I be doing if there was a place nearby to throw them away? I'd be picking them up and throwing them away. I'm looking in the Rite Aid parking lot. I'm not seeing a garbage can there. Let's see, AutoZone parking lot. I can't tell. There's too many vehicles and shit in the way. Where's he supposed to throw those? And where's the guarantee that they're his? You guys got to see what I did. I had a trash bag to pick that stuff up and put it in. But he don't seem to have a trash bag. So what's he going to put it in? And also, I don't put beer cans in my car. If there's a beer can or a beer bottle, I'm not putting it in my car. There's another one. More trash, more trash. People throw it out of their vehicles. Of course, all of this trash, according to the state of Oregon, this must come from homeless people. We have to run off all of the homeless people. We can't allow them to live anywhere because people don't want to see their unsightliness or brokenness. So, of course, they want to put ideas into place that force us to, well, move more often than we are capable. And then, of course, you want to type seemingly able, seemingly able. So you're trying to insinuate that you have no fucking idea, though, do you? You don't have any idea about these people's disabilities. You don't have any idea about what they've been through. Just because somebody can walk doesn't mean they can work. I know some people got some pretty horrendous injuries. They can still walk. Now, some of them injuries are head injuries. Some of those head injuries result in, well, frequent traumatic responses. And you're going to get a lot of those out of the homeless community. I mean, Ronald Reagan dumps all of these quote-unquote mentally ill people out on the streets. And now you assume everybody on the streets must be. And because somebody called them that, then obviously that hobo must be guilty. And these poor citizens who are paying their taxes are the good, wholesome Americans. Fuck you. You're asking for Nazi bullshit. Have you ever read Mein Kampf? I recommend it. You want to know about the evils of the church? Well, that's pretty easy to do. All you got to do is open up the Bible and read it for yourself. Then walk into the church and listen to the pastor reinterpret it for you. Most people's excuse for not even trying is that it won't work. They already know. All these people speak about it on my YouTube channel. They're all pissed off because their words are out there. Oh. Not sure if you guys saw that bird. It's a beautiful shade of blue and gray. I'm sorry that sometimes I break character when I'm trying to be angry. I don't have that kind of hatred in me, and it takes a lot to push it out. To try to force myself to even say a lot of the things that I have to say. Speak up about the things that I've been through and the things that others have been through, because, well, as much as I love them and as much as I don't want to kick them in the teeth, they kicked me in the teeth, and I got to show the truth. Preservation of human life and all that. When we got Nazi tactics and Nazi laws like what we got going up nationwide, I mean, these are making things worse. And, of course, these anti-homeless laws are still used against black people to this day. So, of course, when black folks are talking about the statistics of how many black homeless people there are, absolutely, I'm going to back that shit up. I've seen it. I was in the jails, I was in the prisons, and most of the people I was locked up with were homeless when they were locked up. Most of them didn't have the money for bail. Good chance that most of them were not guilty. Many of the ones that were, the only thing they were guilty of is defending themselves against you fucking Nazis. We're gonna have a 4th of July celebration, and people are gonna start a bunch of fires for a constitution we no longer have. Oh, that's tobacco. Except it fell apart, so I apparently don't need to carry it. Wow, that's beautiful. It's hot as hell right here, but there's a mountain in the background that's white. Let's try to line it up so we can see it. Ah, it's difficult to see. Just one thing over there covered in snow. Anyway, the thing is that even though the city council members that passed that ordinance said that, well, they basically said that it's illegal. They basically admit, well, it is illegal, but only if anyone contests it. And are any of those people going to have the ability to contest it? Are any of them going to have the money to contest it? Are all of them going to lose everything? How many of them are criminals now because they couldn't afford to leave? You want them to just get up and move along. Where to? See, that's the thing with Meg Messigatis. Instead of doing her job, she wanted me to move along. That's the thing about Penny Cooper. Instead of doing her job, she wanted me to move along. Move along. What the police want me to do? Move along. What I keep on doing? Moving along. Nothing ever resolved. And the bodies just keep piling up. Cops keep looking away. And of course, even though the homeless are probably the most useful resources for finding missing people, you want to ignore us. Now, I'm hoping that lady at Starbucks gets a hold of me. She knows where I live, obviously. She saw me at my parking lot last night. Hopefully she'll come back and talk to me and I can try to explain this shithole of the fucking situation. It's not alright. I can't just keep moving along. Let's look at all this garbage along here. Alright? Now maybe that'll come from homeless people. Maybe, but I severely doubt it. That side too. Of course, there's a Mike's Hard something or other in an open can. That might be a homeless person. Is that mandarin oranges? It is indeed. All right, that's somebody who knows how to stay alive. So, now that I'm at Walmart, I'm gonna put my phone away. I'm gonna go get some of them ice cube thingies, and I'll come back and bitch at you some more. I'm not real happy with the United States. Obviously, we're going to be celebrating the fact that we don't have a constitution, the fact that homelessness almost doubled in a single year. I mean, 60%, that's a lot. That is quite significant to jump. We're going to celebrate the fact that, well, of course, men don't have any rights. Homeless people for surely don't have any rights. Disabled people for surely don't have any rights. What else are we celebrating? Oh, yes, the murder of homeless people, America-wide, wholesale. We got to celebrate that too, don't we, on the 4th of July? We should also, what else are we supposed to celebrate? Who is it the Nazis hated? Let's see, they hated the homeless and the disabled and Jews and blacks, right? So we're basically celebrating the hatred of that too. We're performing the same actions on the same people. We're playing the same tactics and keeping the same laws on the books that perpetuate it. So we're not doing anything positive. We're doing nothing to advance society forward. We're basically just trying to pick up the pieces of an empire that is at its end. Now we're gonna try to pretend like we're as Billy Badass as we were in the 1980s, but we're not. It's time to stop victimizing the homeless. It's time to stop victimizing the disabled. And it's time to stop trying to shove us into internment camps. You deny us the right to self-govern, but you govern us poorly because you know nothing about us. You know nothing about what we have to survive, what we have to live through and what you do to prevent us from doing so. You tell us it's against the law, it's against the law, it's against the law. Move along, move along, move along. Well, it's against the law for us to live anywhere. That's why we need guns. We don't need guns ourselves because those will just get us shot. Much like in the Civil War, we need your guns. Much like in the Civil War where we had those folks, all them white folks willing to pick up a rifle to free black people. Well, we need you, quote-unquote, neurotypicals to pick up rifles and fight for us just the same. They're murdering us more than any of you guys. None of you get to tell me about who's the most marginalized. Because none of y'all are right. None of y'all care. You look away from the statistics. Oh, also, haha, I'm prettier than you are.